Hello everybody, welcome to my channel The Revenge Chronicles.
Here is an interesting revenge story that turns to be fatal, not by direct action but fate. Let me break down the story for you scene by scene. Three characters are involved in the story: Martin, Shane and Mel. Martin is the narrator, so anything comes as first person like I refers to Martin. Third person like he, him refers to Shane. Mel is a she. Martin is the narrator. He fully intended to seek revenge on the person in the story. But the aftershock of the eventual confrontation is what led to the consequences rather than his direct actions. The story begins here. I work in the UK for a large technology company doing software support. My team is global with members all over the world. I have been in this job for around 10 years, and despite the major issues with this one guy, I genuinely enjoy my work. When I started, I wasn't green. I had about 7 years of industry experience. While new to the company, I was comfortable with the tech. My team, about 30 of us, were all incredibly supportive and keen to help everyone except Shane. Shane was what you would call the team guru. About 5 years from retirement, practically part of the office furniture, he had been with the company for nearly 40 years. Everyone said he was the only guy to go to when you were truly in a bind. Initially, Shane was incredibly knowledgeable, always having answers to obscure questions. Things were great. I also got to know the rest of the team, and my best friend became Mel. She was similar in age and experience to Shane and just as knowledgeable. One day, Mel and I were chatting when she mentioned meeting with Shane in person at a conference. They were both in the USA, and she told me he had serious health issues due to his weight, around 450 pounds, often on oxygen and medication at home. His plan was to ride it out until early retirement for medical insurance. It sounded reasonable and we moved on. About 2 years into my tenure, issues began. We started moving into new applications and we were all trained. I saw this as a huge opportunity and equalizer. If no one had experience, I was on equal footing. I put in a lot of effort. Shane, however, showed little interest, sticking to the legacy tools. You could see in meetings his guru status was diminishing. It wasn't personal in software. You adapt or you are left behind. As time went on, the team saw how much work I was putting in, and I was becoming the go-to guy for the new software. During this time, Shane started sniping at me. If I was late, he would interrupt to comment, even though he had done the same. He had also replied to my emails with unrelated complaints completely irrelevant to the discussion. One day, Mel called asking what my beef with Shane was. I told her truthfully I had none. He just seemed to have it in for me. She promised to let me know if she found anything. This continued for a couple of years. Then a major incident hit, one that could cost millions in fines. Our manager paired Shane and me to troubleshoot. I wasn't happy, but I am a professional. We got on a call. As we worked, it became clear why he disliked me. He knew nothing about the new application. Everything I asked him to check, he needed hand-holding. Eventually, I just shared my screen and told him to watch. I went deep into the system, explaining my action as I navigated logs. I found the problem, a recent patch. At that time, Shane dropped from the call. I didn't think anything of it. Skype can be flaky sometimes. I just continued making notes about the needed rollback after senior approval. As soon as I rejoined the main call, I was absolutely destroyed by the incident manager. Apparently, Shane had returned and told everyone the outage was my error and that I had refused his correct fix. I was furious. He knew the cause because I showed him. I even foolishly mentioned my thought on the fix. Because of his long tenure, his reputation outweighed mine. for those who didn't work with him daily. Over 100 people were there on the call, including senior management. He made me out to be a reckless idiot and he was believed. Despite my manager's protest, I was disciplined with a verbal warning. Shane, meanwhile, was congratulated for steering the company away from disaster and given a commendation. I was so angry. A while later, Mel called. Apparently, Shane had been bragging to her about putting that smart-ass punk in his place. She was shocked and asked what he was talking about. His real beef was that he thought I disrespected him by trying to take over his go-to role. That wasn't my intention. I didn't see it as my fault. He was too lazy to adapt. I lamented to Mel that she should have recorded the call. She laughed, saying Skype shows recordings and he had never have spilled his guts. I immediately had a brainwave. I decided to confront Shane one-on-one. I pinged him on Skype saying I wanted to talk. He responded with a smiley, "Sure." I called him and let him know I was recording this call. The Skype notification popped up. I went right for it, accusing him of lying about the incident and having a beef with me. As expected, he lied, saying he was sorry I felt this way and would talk to our boss. I said, wait once again. I turned off the Skype recorder. Then I said, Skype isn't recording now and you know exactly what you did. His mask slipped. He said he was perfectly within his rights to put me in my place. He said, you need to respect longer serving people in jobs like this, and he had to do it again in a heartbeat. I did not hold back. I called him a dinosaur who refused to move with the times, wanting to coast without doing work. He said he was a couple of years from retirement and wouldn't bust his ass for shiny new software. I asked him, speaking of new software, have you heard of OBS? Of course he hadn't. I suggested he Google it. Then I hung up. Not long after, the messages started. He was begging me not to use the secret recording. He said if he was fired, he would lose his retirements and medical benefits. I told him to go himself, that he should have considered that before trying to get me fired. I passed everything onto the relevant channels without much thought. Things moved quickly, and a few weeks later, after a company investigation, he was fired. Mel told me he had asked for early retirement to keep his benefits, but it was rejected. It all came out later. Apparently, he had significant debts and was counting on his retirement package. With no job and no package, he had no money for the medical treatment he badly needed. He was in no state to get a new job and his skills were all outdated, so he couldn't even find work online. Mel told me he died about 6 months after his whole incident due to his ongoing health issues. I felt conflicted for a while. Sharing that recording obviously contributed to his death, but I don't know how bad I feel about it. I am a young guy trying to build my career and he actively tried to destroy me. Maybe I should have held off when he pleaded, but he was old and wise enough not to engage in those childish games. If I had known he would die as a result, I would maybe have done something differently. It definitely stays with me. I'm still at the company and I can tell you all that I will never treat a new employee the way he treated me. So maybe the breaking of that cycle is the positive to come out of all this.
Thank you for staying with me till the end. See you in the next video.